Greetings everyone. Well, continuing on with the Blu-ray updates this time, I actually have a couple of animated ones to talk about. So that's why the cartoon display is still up. Alrighty, cartoons on Blu-ray. Let's talk about them today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. Well, this first one we're going to talk about today is one that many people consider to be something of a modern classic. It's from that amazing year of fantasy and sci-fi, 1982. I've said before how just so many movies came out in 1982 that are largely considered modern classics now, or just amazing films in general. Well, this was one of them, and I have to confess, I actually kind of missed out on it back when it was new. I think I saw it, but honestly, and I remembered seeing bits and pieces of it, but I'm not actually 100% sure if I saw the entire thing or not. I'm inclined to say no, I just saw bits and pieces of it. I know a lot of people who consider this one their all-time top of the list, nothing else compares to it, childhood favorites of all time. Like, just, that's it. It doesn't get any better than this. When you ask them what their all-time favorite childhood movie is, it's this one. I am, of course, talking about The Last Unicorn. Believe it or not, I kind of missed this one when it was out in 1982. I have no idea why, because from then until now, almost everybody I know always asks me when I tell them I'm a big fan of 80s cartoons, like, oh, you must know The Last Unicorn. And I'm like, yeah, I am aware of it, but I have to confess I don't think I've actually seen the whole thing. And they're like, oh, dude, you're missing out. It's like the greatest movie ever made. So obviously, after all the glowing reviews that people have been giving to me, throughout my entire life, this is one that I've been really curious about for a very long time and really wanted to check out. Now, a few years back, they put out the special 25th anniversary edition on DVD. So I was thinking of grabbing that, but I didn't. Otherwise, you would have seen it in an update at some point. But then it came out on Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray was getting glowing reviews, and a couple months ago, I was just kind of going on a binge, getting stuff that I thought maybe Rosie and I could watch together. And I thought, hey, this seems like a good time to check out The Last Unicorn, because Rosie loves fantasy movies and stuff, and fairy tale type stuff, and she has a lot of little plush unicorns and stuff. So I knew she liked unicorns. The only thing was, because I hadn't seen it, I figured, well, I should probably watch it myself first, just to make sure, because I actually thought that this was an anime. Yeah, this is how little I knew about it. Just because of the visual style. I mean, you look at the sort of design of the unicorn, it looks very anime-like. But it's actually not. It's an American film produced by Rankin-Bass. Rankin-Bass has been around forever. Their first sort of really big claim to fame was all those old classic Christmas specials that we all know and love, and all of us have grown up with. Stuff like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, Jack Frost, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, all those. That's all Rankin-Bass, with the puppets and everything. So that really, got the ball rolling. And then a few years later, they actually did the first ever film adaptation of The Hobbit in animated form. And for a lot of people, that's a childhood favorite. That's a childhood favorite of mine. I loved The Hobbit animated movie growing up, and it was great. And then a few years after that, they did Return of the King, which wasn't so good, but I think the reason they jumped over that and just went straight to the Return of the King is because in the middle there somewhere Ralph Bakshi did his Lord of the Rings adaptation, which adapted like the first book and a half of Lord of the Rings. So anyway, they kind of finished it off because it looked like Ralph Bakshi was never going to finish it, but they kind of didn't do as good a job. But anyway, that's another story for another time. Back to The Last Unicorn. So anyway, in 1982 they did The Last Unicorn, and it was based on a novel that had been written essentially for children, and I guess pre-adolescent kids and stuff. It was just kind of a whole new take on a lot of the old myths and legends and such. So you have like a wizard character, and you have some mythical creatures and such, like you have a harpy, you have, of course, the unicorn, and you have some other, evil guys and whatnot, and even Robin Hood is mentioned in there at one point. But, yeah, so anyway, not knowing anything about it really, and thinking that, well, if it's anything like a lot of other sort of independent animated films that came out around that time, there may be some material in it that might be a little bit too intense for Rosie. So I decided to check it out for myself first. So I watched the Blu-ray version. This is actually a combo pack, by the way. There's a Blu-ray and DVD edition in here, and I'll talk about that a little bit in a few minutes. So I watched the Blu-ray version, and it looks fantastic. I mean, they just did a fantastic job on this. If you're a fan of this movie, then you will not be disappointed with this Blu-ray. It looks and sounds basically, I think, as good as it's ever going to look and sound. It's just fantastic. But anyway, I really enjoyed the movie. I mean, it's got a hell of a cast in it. You got Mia Farrow as the voice of the unicorn. You got Alan Arkin as Schmendrick the magician, who's her friend and traveling companion. And you've even got, what's his face, Robert Klein as a singing butterfly who shows up at one point. You got Jeff Bridges as this heroic adventurer type who befriends her and actually kind of falls in love with her. And it's great. It's just a lot of fun, and I can't believe I've been missing it all these years. Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. Now, in watching it, I thought, yeah, there's a couple spots in here that might be a little bit intense for Rosie just because of her age. But I thought, well, we'll give it a go and see how it goes. I mean, she's seen other things with some scary parts and whatnot, and she was able to handle that okay. So I figured, well, this is kind of tame by comparison, and I think I can kind of talk her through it if she has any issues with it. So the next time she came over, I asked if she wanted to watch the Unicorn movie, and she'd been really curious about it because she was actually with me when I bought it. So while we were out shopping, I picked this one up and I said, "Oh, would you like to see this one maybe?" And she said, "Oh yeah, I'd love to see the Horsie movie," and stuff like that. So she'd been asking to see the Horsie movie ever since I bought it. But I really wanted to preview it first, just to make sure it would be suitable for her. And if it wasn't, I would just kind of put it in the back of the collection, so out of sight, out of mind, right? So anyway, I figured it was fine. So we sat down and we watched it together. I just made sure that I was sitting with her when the scary parts came on. There's only sort of a couple of parts in it that I would consider maybe a little bit too intense for kids with a more sensitive disposition. In particular, the scene with the harpy at the traveling circus of mythical beasts, which is pretty intense. It's not like graphic or gory or anything like that, but it could be quite scary. I mean, the harpy is a pretty scary, nasty, evil creature, and I'm going to assume you've seen it. So spoilers! Spoilers! Spoiler alert! This is spoilers now. From here on, I'm going to spoil shit, so if you haven't seen it, don't watch this part. Okay, spoilers. Okay, so the part where the harpy basically kills the old hag witch, voiced by Angela Lansbury, by the way. Yeah, Murder, She Wrote. She's like this old nasty witch who captures the unicorn and puts her in a traveling circus and stuff like that. And she has like other supposedly mythical beasts there, but they're all fakes that she just sort of uses her limited magical abilities to make people think are actual mythical beasts, but they're not. Except for one. She has a harpy there, and the harpy is this sort of vulture-like creature with 3 of the nastiest, saggiest breasts you've ever seen. And I have to pause here and mention something. The 25th Anniversary Edition DVD apparently had the nipples of the breasts digitally blurred out, so it was censored. However, the DVD and Blu-ray editions on this edition are uncensored, so if you're concerned at all about censorship, rest assured this is uncut. There's another aspect of that which I'll get into in a few minutes. But so anyway, the unicorn escapes with the help of Schmendrick the magician. It's where she meets up with him at this circus, and she releases the harpy just to give it its freedom. And the harpy basically attacks the old witch and her assistant and kills them. But the way it does that is basically by sort of pouncing on them and draining their life force, and you see it like glowing as it's sucking their life force out of them. So I already had a pre-figured out explanation. So I was watching it with Rose, and she's like, "Oh, what's happening?" I said, "Oh, well, the harpy is just taking the old lady's magic away, so she can't be mean to people anymore." Huh? Is that clever or what? Yeah, and she bought it, so it was all cool. But honestly, she didn't really seem that bothered by it. She was just like, "Oh, like what's going on?" So, smart kid. Anyway, so we had no problem with the harpy scene. The only other thing that I saw some other reviewers sort of comment about might be of concern to parents with kids with a sensitive disposition is the Red Bull, which is sort of one of the primary adversaries in the movie. Basically the Red Bull has herded all of the unicorns into the ocean. It hasn't killed them. They're basically trapped in the ocean waves in like with a magic spell, so that only this one like evil wizard guy can enjoy them solely for himself. He's like this selfish old bastard. And anyway, she's the last one, so the Red Bull is trying to catch her. So there's quite a few scenes where the Red Bull is chasing her and stuff, and it's very intense and very scary. Rosie had no issues with the Red Bull at all. We've actually watched this twice now, so I've seen it 3 times since buying it. Once myself and twice with Rosie. And it's great. I actually enjoy it more each time I see it. I see other little things in it that I missed previously. But like the last time we were watching was actually yesterday. She asked me what the Red Bull was doing. You know, I said, well, it's chasing her. It's trying to catch her. And he said, "Oh, well, why is he trying to catch her?" And I said, "Well, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think the Red Bull is going to do if he catches her?" He says, "He's going to eat her." She was just like very matter of fact about it. Like, "Yep, it's going to eat her." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I don't think that's what it's going to do. I think he's just trying to chase her away, but you know, try to catch her. But if you think he's going to eat her, then he's going to eat her. But she had no issues with it at all. I mean, she just enjoyed it, and she likes all the spectacle of it and the humor and stuff, and really enjoyed it a lot. So on the matter of censorship, again, I wanted to mention something else about the 25th anniversary DVD edition, namely that the audio was actually censored in the 25th anniversary. So you had visual censorship and you had audio censorship. So 2 major issues, which I'm sure, I didn't follow this at the time because I wasn't, you know, a big fan of the movie at the time, but I'm sure that really pissed off longtime fans of the movie, because in the actual uncensored audio track there's a couple of mild swear words. There's a couple of damns and hells, and I think there might be a son of a bitch in there somewhere or something like that. But anyway, it's some mild language, but that, you know, parents may not want their kids to hear. So one thing I need to mention about this is the Blu-ray version actually gives you the option of both audio tracks. It specifies. It defaults to the 25th anniversary audio, which is the censored audio. So if your kids put it on to watch, you don't have to worry about it. It's the censored audio track. The only thing that you might be concerned about is the nipples on the harpy. But I mean, really, the nipples on the harpy are like the least titillating tits I've ever seen. I mean, there is absolutely nothing arousing about it whatsoever. This is one nasty looking creature, so I don't think you need to be concerned about that. You know, even your adolescent kids aren't going to get any jollies out of looking at harpy boobs. So, but for yourself and for, you know, adult fans who can handle a few damns and hells, there's also the uncensored audio track, but you actually have to go into the options and manually select it. It does not default to that, and I can understand the reasoning for that, obviously. Then on the DVD edition is actually the 25th anniversary edition, but with one minor alteration. It's still the censored audio track, but it has uncensored video. So again, the harpy nipples are unblurred. However, the audio is only the censored version. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the DVD and Blu-ray themselves. We have this beautiful shiny slipcover, which you've probably been staring at the whole video because I like to hold them up through the whole thing. And then the artwork inside is basically exactly the same. And then inside we don't have any inserts, we just have the 2 discs. So we have the DVD on this side and the Blu-ray on this side. You can put them whichever way you want, who cares, whatever. In terms of extras, we got a lot of extras on here. This is actually very nice. Disc 1, Blu-ray, feature film plus bonus. You have Immortal Characters featurette, audio commentary with writer Peter S. Beagle and publisher Connor Cochran. That's the original author of the book, who also wrote the screenplay for the film. 2010, The Last Unicorn Art Contest Gallery. So there's like a whole gallery of fan art and everything in there. It's very nice. Peter S. Beagle and his work talks about his, this story and other stories that he wrote. The Tale of the Last Unicorn mini documentary. Schmendrick's Magical Gallery. Original trailer, trailer gallery, 1080p high definition. Don't list that as a special feature. We know it is because it's Blu-ray. Widescreen presentation, very nice. 25th anniversary edition and original theatrical version, English 5.1 DTS HD master audio, English and Spanish subtitles, and English SDH. Disc 2 is the DVD feature film plus bonus. Again, The Tale of the Last Unicorn mini-documentary, Schmendrick's Magical Gallery, Escape the Red Bull set-top game, About Peter S. Beagle, original trailer, trailer gallery, English 5.1 and 2.0 Dolby Digital Audio, English and Spanish subtitles, and English closed captioned. Yeah, and as far as the audio goes, the DVD is only the censored audio, the Blu-ray gives you both. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. This is a wonderful film, and, you know, the only caution would be some of the material may be unsuitable for certain kids, but if you figure your kid can handle it, just watch it with them, you know, and talk them through the scary bits if they have a problem with it. Because overall, this is a wonderful, magical, beautiful film, and I know that I'm going to be enjoying it for years to come. I can't believe I've missed out on it all this time, but I'm very glad to have it in my collection at last. So, well, I was going to talk about a few more, but apparently I had a lot more to say about The Last Unicorn than I realized, so we'll save the other ones for next time. Alrighty, Last Unicorn on Blu-ray. Check it out. It's very good. And that's it from me to you for now. So until next time, thanks for watching, and sayonara.